guess we sort of like come to the last official question before I hand over to you for passing the mic. And essentially, I think this is the best way, after hearing of all the amazing things that you're doing, after hearing, you know, about All Dogs Go to Heaven, what's next for you?
Right. So other than, All Dogs Go to Heaven, which you can also follow my socials for that. I think it's just All Dogs Go to Heaven _UK, something like that. It's quite easy to find, which I'll be posting throughout the summer for more information. I really hope to stay in the charity sector, just because it feels really nice to, like, I love communications. I want to stay in the communication side, because I love promoting things and being creative, but it feels really nice that I'm not just promoting a product for no reason. I'm actually helping people, and like the messages I receive from people, it's so nice to feel like, you know, that one post I did, it changed someone's whole birth experience. So anything. So it doesn't just have to be birth. Like whatever I do, I hope I do stay in the charity sector, but but there are two more things that are definitely something that I'm involved in. The first being, I also work for, I completely forgot to say this, I also work a bit part-time for this other charity, and it's called Stopwatch UK. And it's basically helping for young people to advocate for their rights again, but for stop and searches, because we know that specifically men don't, that is just something that happens so frequently for especially Black men, and it's just not like spoken about enough. But at the moment, I've been invited to partake as a co-researcher into looking into how girls are stopped and searched and the research around that, because there isn't any. And at the moment, we've done a few interviews about this, and there's a survey going around. And then this Monday coming, the 6th of June, we're actually going to the Parliament with MP Bell Barrow. I'm going to forget her last name, Bell. And she's basically going to chair the meeting about this research. And I think I'm going to say a speech actually just about what we're doing. It's a really lovely group of young women that have partaken in this research. So I'm really excited to kickstart that and be a part of that. So you can get tickets for that actually on Eventbrite. If this goes out before then, or just look out for research. Stopwatch UK Research Girls Project.
Wow. What, like I said before, what aren't you doing? That is incredible to see what's next for you. And I think generally it's like I said, it's really great work that you're doing. And the fact that you're not only working for one, but two charities and thinking about starting your own charity. Like I said, the sky's clearly just the limit for Sydney.
For everyone, honestly, like I have a lot of all this stuff, but if I'm actually whether gonna do it or not, who knows? But I try.
Oh no, I'm sure it will all go well, and we'll make sure that anything that we can share with our audience, we will definitely share that their way.
Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. And I guess we've now come on to passing the mic, where I pass the mic over virtually over to our amazing guest speakers. So I'm now going to hand over to Sydney. Could you please ask me the question that you prepared for today?
Yeah, so I just wanted to know do you think that your podcast has basically made an impact? I don't know if that's just because I have a quite charitable mindset, but do you think it's making an impact, and have you received any feedback on that?
So let me start off with when I got your question, I generally was just like, whew, what's my answer going to be?
Sorry.
No. Honestly, it's a good question, and it's good to put me on the spot. I think, in all honesty, yes, I do believe that Pick Up the Mic does have an impact on students. I think, like you said, I know I definitely do this. I don't know if anyone else on our team does this as well. But I get sometimes in the mindset of, oh my gosh, you know, like if a video hasn't like had loads of views, or, you know, if I've got a link and I put in Linktree and not a lot of people have clicked on it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, like no one is really engaging with it. No one's doing this, no one's doing that. But I think the incredible thing that sometimes happens is like when people like, for example, might come up to me or might just, share on LinkedIn and be like, oh my gosh, wow, this is really good. So I guess one bit of feedback is, so it was literally, my sister started doing it through her page that she runs on Instagram. We just started this thing called Tuesday Motivation. So it was like every Tuesday, sometime in 2020, we were just like, a lot's going on in the world, but hey, we want to offer you like this bit of motivation each week to just encourage you. And I think for me, like, I didn't know this. It was just someone in the team just said like, oh my gosh, like, please, my friends tell me like, please keep sharing this, because they said hearing like some of the stuff that you put for your motivation is like really encourages me to like keep on going and keep on doing stuff. And like, especially when they were just like, oh, when I was doing uni and stuff, it was crazy. So yeah, so I think like, I guess content wise, sometimes there's that tendency for anyone, I guess, to be like, oh my gosh, hasn't got a lot of likes or hasn't got a lot of views, or, it's not doing as well as I'd love it to. But I think, like you said, it's just that like one comment or like one like or one person who truly appreciates it and says like, wow, this is really important. This has really impacted me and changed my life. I guess feedback wise, for our like main series, which is obviously this, definitely I've received feedback of like people saying that, I guess, there was information given that they didn't know about. They've said that, when it comes to conversations of representation, it's been really good to like highlight stuff. I think the thing that like really shocked me was when members of like the university, staff members were just like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know that certain students, felt like this about representation, or, they wanted to see more. Yeah. So that like really surprised me, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you guys even listened to it. But yeah, I think like you said,
that, but yeah, as in, wow, like, professors, listening to us is like they're actually listening to us.
Exactly. And I think that's so true, because I think there's the tendency that as students, you sometimes feel like, yes, you can raise like concerns about your course, or you can raise like issues that you're having, but sometimes it's kind of like, yes, you're going through that, but nothing's going to change. And I think that sometimes hearing like, being told that like, for example, like from the student union, that they were saying, oh my gosh, we want to want to see your episodes of representation, because we want to know how Brunel students have felt about representation. And I'm just like, well, here you go. This is the link. These are what people are saying that you as a university or you as a student union could do more to help support students. Yeah. And I think it's just, yeah, getting that feedback and being able to know that actually, like, even if, like I said, a video doesn't do amazingly well, or, don't get loads of likes or whatever, to just know that there are people out there that are just like, actually, I'm going to start implementing changes because of the stuff I've heard on here. I think that's just been really great.
I think, yeah, well, that's really good. Thank you for answering my question in that way. That is really
thank you.
And that's what I was hoping to hear as well. Because honestly, even just one person listening to this podcast today, it would make my day, because the information that they hopefully have heard today could be really invaluable to them, and it could change their career journey or what they want to do, and make them realize that there is a way out of uni and you can have a career. You don't just have to put your degree on the back burner. You can try and get into work as soon as possible if you find those opportunities. But definitely check your Brunel emails, because I feel like a lot of people don't know the stuff.
That's true.
They really don't. You need to check your emails, guys.
No, I definitely think that's true. And I think, like you said, I got 2 points to say to that. So I guess the first thing is, I'm a massive like comic book Marvel DC nerd. And one of the things that yeah, thank you. And one of the things that in like Justice League that was shared was this idea of like, so it's a point in the film, I guess if you haven't watched it, I definitely would recommend. But basically, the Flash asked Batman, like, how do I be a superhero? Like, what do I do? And he just said, like, save one. And I think that really stuck with me, because it's like built in the mentality, like, I guess worldwide, we're built in the mentality of like loads of money, loads of like promotion, and being like that prestigious person is like amazing. That's the goal. But actually, it's kind of like, and we mentioned it in this last episode, of like being content with everything. So as an individual, you being content with when you've got like loads, when you've got little. There's like a scripture in the Bible that says that I'm happy when I've got loads of money, I'm happy when I don't, I'm happy when I've got loads of food, I'm happy when I don't. And I think even like on that on one end is really important, but also on the other end, it's about like, I don't need to, like make a massive movement on the world and like, have, campaign and do stuff like that, because that's one of the things that, especially through this podcast, has always annoyed me, that that sometimes I feel like there are loads of individuals that we've had on this podcast that are doing like amazing work and doing great things, and it's kind of like they don't have that platform that's that promotes it, and it's kind of like, well, it's great to see that you guys are doing this, but I'm like, why isn't someone like speaking to you guys or asking you guys to like come on podcasts or come do this or come do that? And I've always just said that like there are a lot of unsung heroes, and I think especially when it comes to uni students, that can be the case. So this idea of like always being able to impact that one person is always just like stuck with me. And I think, like you said, it's also encouraging that, whether, after you graduate from uni, you want to go and start your own business, or you want to go, work part-time and do your master's course, or do a master's course straight away, or take a gap year, like you can do that and you can still have like a fulfilled life. And it's not about, I graduated and now I got like a 100K job and I can, do all of this. It's about like, actually, I've graduated, and, for one person, it might just simply be, I started a business. Yeah, we're not making a lot of money, but actually I'm having a huge impact on individuals through the products that I sell or through the services that I provide. For others, it might just be like to just work with their dream company would be amazing. And I think that's generally just so true.
Yeah, honestly, just enjoy, try and enjoy life. And when you are thinking about a job, yeah, everyone wants to get paid loads, but realistically, you can't always do that as a graduate, just as a recent graduate. So find something that you actually will enjoy, because honestly, mental health is so important. And I can say, even though I worked part-time, I don't get paid massive amounts because I work part-time. I still make so much memories with my friends outside of work, and I have the time to do that because I work part-time. So at this moment in time, I wouldn't change that for the world.
Exactly. And I think it's just that sense of not feeling like you have to like do like you said, like chase this like dream of like, oh yeah, to be successful you have to do all of this, or like we joked at the start, be on Love Island and be promoting stuff and Depop and all, not Depop, sorry, Pretty Little Thing and all of that, like being an influencer. And it's just like, no, like you can just do like your thing and be successful. And I think to another thing to add to this is this idea of success. I think people always say, like, don't think that, there's an age limit to success. So like, if you're not like 25 and you've started your own company and you're bringing in like 6K, that's six figures, then that's like a bad thing. Like, no, actually, like I think I saw a post about this on LinkedIn, and they were just like, age is never like a definition of when you can start your dreams. They were just like, Colonel Sanders, the guy who did KFC, started at 60. They were just like, yeah. And they listed, I think like Bill Gates was like in his 30s when he set up Microsoft. There were other people, and they were just like, even like they were saying like athletics wise, like Usain Bolt won his first Olympic gold medal, I think at 27, I think, if I'm correct. So yeah, so they were literally just like, you don't need to feel like, the time's past you. You can just, keep doing things. And I think even in life, like I think the greatest lesson that I personally feel like I've learned is it's when, like you said, you really are doing stuff, not because, it's going to give you that like extra bit of money or that extra bit of prestigiousness on your like CV or on your career. But you're doing stuff because you generally enjoy it. I feel like that's when you, like you said, you're building these memories that actually will be with you for life. Like, even like also like the team I work with, one of them I met through literally doing the podcast, and probably would not have met them if I didn't do it. But everyone else I only met through the work placement I did during my undergrad. And that work placement, like I always say that it was like a last minute thing. I didn't even see, like you said, a typical uni student. I didn't check my emails about it. Here's me wiring for a year placement. And I saw the email, I applied, I like got the job. And like that year, yes, COVID got in the way and did sort of like injure like the last 6 months. But like those first 6 months were like probably one of the best times I've had at uni.
Oh, that's great.
And I've 100%, and all those connections like I've built then it's always stuck with me. And I think, like you said, it's just being like, okay, that like I might not necessarily be bringing in loads of money, or I might not necessarily be, doing the same thing as someone else, but that doesn't mean what I'm doing isn't enough or isn't good enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel like that's so true.
Yeah, and honestly, like, even though I am really grateful to say that I've had a lot of experiences, but a lot of it is just because I've done what I've enjoyed, and then the rest is honestly has come to me, and it's because I'm just open to receiving what is meant for me. So the more you're in that mindset, instead of saying, no, I need to do this, I need to get this job, just go with the flow. And I'm telling you, like, the happier you are, the easier life experiences will come to you, and you'll get that opportunity. Because you came to me and I was like, oh wow, this is so good. And literally a few weeks before you came to me, my friend we were speaking about All Dogs Go to Heaven, and she's like, you need to go on a podcast, you need to speak about this. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'd ever be on a podcast. Like, how would that come about? So yeah, you never know what could happen.
Honestly, that's so true. And I think, yeah, I think that's a nice way to end this section of like being open and ready to receive things. And I think it's not always about like what, like I said, like with the work placement, it had nothing really to do with my degree, but
Yeah.
like the whole experience, the people that I met, like it was probably better than if I had worked with something to do with my degree. And I feel like that's something that people just need to be open to, like you said, that you don't have to like have a one made plan and stick to that plan the whole way through life. Like, yes, it is good to have plans. I'm not saying like you should just go through life without planning anything, because I've never worked. But I'd say like just be open, like you said, to just, if things don't work your way, don't see it as a wrong thing. See it as like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. It's just not the time.
Exactly. And it's okay. It's okay if, you know, you apply for a job, your dream job, you didn't get it. Because I think that's one of the things that my like, and I guess the last point I'll say to this, because I feel like you said, I feel like I've been talking it for ages. But one of the things that I think my dad said about my mum, and he said to me as well, was he was saying that my mum had applied to work at different places. And like all the places she's applied to work for and got rejected from, she basically got hired at those places again when she wasn't really looking for employment.
Yeah.
And she was saying like that's one of the greatest things ever. And then even for me, it was one of those things where like the placement I ended up doing was not the placement I wanted to do when I started. And I was adamant. I was just like, this is the placement I wanted to do. This is what I did. And then when I didn't get it, I was just like, wow, this like really sucks. And I was just like, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to go straight into third year? And then, like you said, I saw the email. I was like, wow, you know, this sounds really interesting. Sounds like something I would enjoy. Let me just check it out. If I get it, great. If not, then I'll just go into third year. And then, yeah, just luckily got it. And yeah, I've been grateful for that ever since.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy for you that worked out. And yeah, just everyone who is listening, it's not the end of the world. Okay, guys, like everything will always work out eventually.
Exactly. No, definitely. And I guess going on to the last section before the end of our MC of the Month section, while this might be our shortest MC of the Month section ever, doesn't mean that it's not one of the most important. And the reason why it's very short is because for this episode, as I said at the start, it's all about supporting charitable initiatives and organizations. And I can't really pick an MC of the month because they're, like Sydney was saying, there's like amazing organizations that do like so much work for so many different people. You've heard about some of them today. You probably have seen some of them in your personal life. And I think a key thing to highlight from our mic check section was that a lot of these organizations are not big organizations or big charities. Some of them are quite small or compared with other ones, they're not as big. And it's knowing that there are all these organizations that do amazing work, like some of the ones we mentioned today, some of the ones, like I said, you probably know in your personal life, to know that they're, I guess, out there as not only doing active work and research to discuss these topics, but they're also going out there and they're raising awareness, they're providing resources, and most of the time, if not all the time, these are all free. And these are all things that you can use. You can support yourself. You can support others. I can't just pick one. So our MCs of the month are essentially every charity that's out there doing creative work, helping communities, improving and looking after individuals' health, and essentially offering people that extra bit of support. Those are our MC of the month. But yeah, we've now come officially to the end of the episode, and I want to say a huge thanks to Sydney for being an amazing guest speaker. As I said, it kind of feels like I was on the call with Wonder Woman, because essentially she's doing so much. She's doing all these like amazing things. Yes, no, you're very welcome. Honestly, like I said, I'm really interested to see what happens with All Dogs Go to Heaven and all the other stuff that you do, because it sounds really interesting. And yeah, that event definitely. I wish you all the best for that. I'm sure that'll go very well, and yeah, who knows, I'll look forward to seeing that speech, because yeah, it looks like it should be really good.
Thank you for having me. It's been a really good conversation. Thank you.
No, thank you. Now before you go, there might be some of our audience thinking, wow, Sydney's amazing, or they might be like, ooh, All Dogs Go to Heaven sounds really interesting, and essentially, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
I would definitely say All Dogs Go to Heaven _UK on Instagram, and Facebook are really good ways to get in contact with me. And maybe, when you post this, you could tag me on Instagram as well, my personal Instagram, if people want to DM me through there, which would be great. Yeah. Perfect. And if you do need advice for if you're having a child, then you can find my contact information on Birthrights. Just type in Birthrights and it will come up. The website will come up straight away.
Perfect, thank you. And yeah, you've heard it here, wonderful audience. So if you want to get in contact with Sydney, please do that. If you like this video, a like, comment, and subscribe is always appreciated. And if you're not already a Patreon member, then please, you're always encouraged to be a Patreon member, so you can have that extra bit of pick up the micness. Made that up on the spot. So you can have that extra bit of pick up the mic. And yeah, essentially keep an eye out for the next episode of Pick Up the Mic. We're slowly approaching the end of season 4, which is crazy to think. But honestly, wish you all the best. Look after yourselves, guys, and we'll see you all in the next episode where we pick up the mic.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.